Welcome everybody back to the Power Pellet podcast. Today is April 5th, 2016. I'm your host, The Vince. I'm here with my co-host.
What's up?
Akimbo Bird.
Guess who's back?
Back.
Dude, do you remember what episode we are on? That's the question for you.
I honestly believe this is episode 20.
It is. Yeah, this is episode 20. Man, where do we start? Where have you been? Why have we been gone? What is going on? You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time.
In about 7 days, I will officially have 2 8-month-old twin girls. That's where I've been. I've been a daddy and a husband, and they've been all driving me crazy, but it's all good. We back on track.
Right.
We about to try and just get the schedule right. That way we can continue to provide the shows that the people have been missing.
Right.
And are used to getting.
So check it out.
Need like a cowbell or something.
Bing! Our last show was exactly 10 months ago. Right? So
to the day, was it? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, 10 months ago, man. So as usual, you can catch all our shows on YouTube if you want to go back and check out the archives and see where we begin, and here's some of our past shows. I don't know, man. It's about video games, so they're really not up to date no more. It's been 10 months. It's been almost a year.
Look, all I know is it's April. E3 is getting ready to come around the corner. We got big blockbuster movies coming out.
Right.
Summer is starting to heat up. Right. So before we get started, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I come in anyway.
Power Pellet Podcast. Man, it's been so long. We still got the Facebook group.
Yep.
Oh man, what else? We still on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. All our recent episodes.
Right.
What's the Twitter? Power Pellet Pod. That's where you can add us at on Twitter. Am I missing anything?
And then Podomatic, of course, is where you can find the most recent shows. But that's really it.
Yeah, you can find usually the last 3 or 4 episodes. If you subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher, you will catch the most recent episodes. Which I think, man, go ahead and plug your other show real quick, because I got a point to that I wanted to say.
Well, the other show that I do is called Fantasy Friends, and that's with my boy. Right, that's with my boy Magellan, who used to. Actually started off on this show with us. And so, when you had the babies and all that, we kind of spun off of here and kind of did our own thing. So there you go.
To that point, I would like to switch to a server that y'all use, man, a little behind the scenes. Y'all don't use Podomatic. Y'all use Podbean, right?
Yeah, man. And actually, so what was happening is we were getting too many hits, too many downloads for Podomatic to handle us.
What a big plus. What a plus side.
Right. And it was a free service, so we can't be mad at them. They wanted cash, to keep hosting our site. So we decided we're going to do a little research to get the best bang for our buck. And so Chris found Podbean, and so we went with them, So, yeah. So I think eventually we'll probably transition this show over to someplace else and kind of maybe get away from Podomatic as well, because hopefully we blow up and they can't handle us no more.
All right, man. So, what's been in your system? Let's keep it moving.
The Division, man, came out March 8th. this year, and I ain't looked back, man. I have grind to level 30. I'm now in the dark zone. I think in the dark zone I'm level 40. So I've played the division so much that I've honestly been taking a couple of breaks from it.
It ain't even been a full 30 days, and you already done ran it twice. It's all dirty, messed up in the mud. You done dropped it a couple times.
It ain't been 30 days, bro. When you sit there and do the math. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the gripe, man, about the game is that a lot of people thought that it was too short of a game with enough content in it. But, I kind of understood what they were trying to accomplish, man. It was, to me, and I've been saying this, throughout some of the arguments and discussions I've been having, is that the division was really like your standard edition of a car. You know what I mean? And so if you wanted, a CD player, that's extra. You want the rims, that's extra. You want a power steering, that might be extra.
I don't feel like it's that bare bones. I mean, we had this discussion when we was actually playing with Team Epic. I don't think it's that bare bones. I mean, it has enough to it. If that's your type of game, you would be able to go back in on daily and dig in and continue to grind and level up.
Well, what they was trying to accomplish, man, with all the creativity and all the options you had, as far as all the guns that you could get, you could create your own guns, you could create your own gear, you could create, so much, and then you could break down and sell guns, and you could break parts down. It was a lot that they were trying to accomplish, and I think they put a lot of attention into that part of the game, borrowing from a bunch of different games, a bunch of MMOs, RPG games that are out there. So for me, it's a lot in there, but, and you're probably going to smile when I say this, but overall, story-wise, wasn't very huge compared to some of the games we played in the past.
And I try not to be negative about it, and I try not to compare it to games that aren't. Negative Nelly. Compared to games that aren't like that I love, right? But, man, over and over again, I continue to find myself comparing it to Borderlands. And that's partly because I'm a huge Borderlands fan, and I can't let go of that stigma. But they are different games, right? You got different. They're different tone-wise. You got first person versus third person. The only thing to me that where I find them similar is you got this world, you're your character, you're trying to create, you kind of create this person in different aspects, and then they just kick you out the door and they tell you to go.
Right.
And I think like it's a couple small things that the division could have did. I had mentioned this in our group chat online on the PSN network, that they could have did different. And one was just the bosses. I think if the bosses visually, if they all looked different,
right.
I think even, outside of, other issues I had with it, I think if they looked different, that would have been enough for me, where I felt like, man, I love the bosses, and it just make it feel more epic, make it feel like, almost like, GTA or Crackdown, where you had these bosses and they were a crew. I don't feel like the bosses have like that crew aspect. It's just it doesn't get too detailed in that, and that just kind of draws me away a little bit.
And do you feel like because of the lack of diversity in the bosses that they weren't memorable? Like some of the battles weren't memorable to you?
I think that's the best way to put it for me personally. Some other people, they feel different. And you and Magellan brought up a point. It makes a difference as far as who you running with as a squad.
Right. Yeah, because for me, I remember some of the bosses and some of the boss fights that I had, but a big part of that was who was in that fight with me. You know what I mean? So, like when I first did the Times Square mission, I was running with Blackthorn, and I got Purdue, and man, that was such a memorable mission because it was so hard and so tough to beat. Now, I couldn't tell you who the bosses was doing that mission, but I remember that particular map, that particular fight, because it was just like we were pinned down.
Y'all was naming bosses, and I'm like, who? And I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, let me check my story list. And I'm like, I got 2 missions left, and I have no idea who y'all talking about.
Right,
and part of that also too was when I played the game, I was playing, and I was like, I didn't know I had completed so many story missions on my end because I was constantly doing the same missions with other people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And something I learned early in this game, and kudos to Chris, was the way they got the map broken down. It's based on rank. So if you're in this neighborhood, it's rank 3 to 5, and you're in this neighborhood, it's like 6 to 9 or something like that. And what I was doing at first was just kind of bouncing around, and a lot of that had to do with me wanting to explore the map, as well as trying to catch up to my friends and keep up.
Were you
with
getting your
friends.
butt kicked too?
Yeah, and there was times I got my butt kicked, and because they were fighting in different neighborhoods which are higher levels than my level, But once Chris kind of explained to me, hey, if you're in this neighborhood, if you're level 3, you should be in this level 3 neighborhood. So what I did was I stopped and went back and said, let me do everything in this neighborhood, 3 to 5, and then 5 to 7, and I kind of cleaned up my map. And that, to me, kind of put the story in order and helped with my progression of my character. So if you haven't played the Division yet and you get in there and you feel like Division where they kind of kick you off the helicopter and say, hey, go fix the city, go figure things out.
Right.
One of the things I could suggest
which that part was still cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come back to that part. One of the things I could suggest is just kind of look around and take it slow. And go from neighborhood to neighborhood, and don't try to rush around and see the city too quickly, but do the jobs that fit your rank, and I think you'll get a better story out of the game. Now, the other thing about getting kicked off the helicopter and being told, hey, go to the city and figure it out, I love that part of it. To me, that's kind of that was reality in the sense that
they weren't babysitting you.
Yeah, and the city's been hit by this virus, and I'm supposed to be this super duper Division agent. So if I'm super duper, I really don't want you holding my hand, because I'm like, the Division agents are the last defense. Everybody else then failed. You know what I mean? So you kind of like that MI6 agent coming in, that Rambo type agent coming in. So I kind of like that part of it.
And that was it was a good part. I wish like the creative character would have been a little bit deeper as far as the facial features. Like you can't even change your character's face after the fact. I think that's a big minus. But outside of the Division and what I said, I've been playing Borderlands. It's not really much going on gaming wise. It's not much else out there. I was sitting back earlier thinking about that. Right. I know today on the Xbox and PC exclusively was Quantum Break. I didn't get a chance to go out and get a hold of a copy. I probably will as soon as they have it at Redbox, because I don't know if I'm ready to spend $60 on something that looks good and looks fancy and flashy, but I don't know if I'm ready to invest in it yet. And the reviews haven't all been negative. I mean, most of the reviews been positive. Is it any other game that's kind of piqued your interest within the last month outside of the Division?
I'm gonna tell you the game that I'm looking forward to, and shame on me for not knowing if it's out or not. But Doom, I'm looking forward to Doom.
And that Doom that's PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, okay. I think I'm looking forward to the Doom, man. Doom was like the first game that you played, right? Computer game that you played, right?
Dude, what was I, 1995? I was like 14 years old. Hung out with my sister at her school during the summer for like a month, and they had a computer lab. And then let me tell you, every single day it was 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. Yep. It was four-man multiplayer. Was it PvP? Just gunning it. Doom was the game. That was my first-person shooter, man, and it just set the tone for everything else. Almost 20 years later, so yeah. And to see that they redoing it, graphics look pretty. I know the gameplay gonna be tight. I just hope it's better than Doom 3. Doom 3 was really good too.
Everything that you mentioned is why I'm interested in playing this game again, man. And I kind of want to share this with my kid, believe it or not, because he'll be 12 this year, and I just want to show him, hey, this is where it began. All these
Yeah.
Call of Duties and Battlefields and Halos and all these first-person shooters that you see, Doom is it. Doom is what really kicked it off.
Wolfenstein and Doom, and then they came out with Quake, and it just
GoldenEye,
everything went on the roll.
Yeah. Topic of the week, virtual reality. Right, we got a couple of headsets that's coming out this year. Man, you can tell we ain't did the show in a minute.
Kind of rusty.
Yeah, real rusty. That's all right, though. It's just like we did our first podcast. So, yeah, man. So you've been hearing it for a couple years now, man. All these different companies have been coming out with these new headsets, and so yeah, they're here now. So I want to talk about them a bit and kind of see from when we first previewed headsets over a year ago to where they are now. Are you looking forward to virtual reality? Are you looking forward to getting a headset? Are you going to get a headset? And if so, which one?
I think that's the hardest question to answer. Which one, right? Because you got Oculus Rift for the PC, which was purchased by Facebook. You got Sony VR, which is exclusive to the PS4 platform. Then you have HTC has their VR set.
Their Vive.
You got Samsung. Samsung has their VR set. So you look at all four, and I feel like I might be missing one, but you look at all four of these and you throw them in the melting pot, and you figure out, okay, well, which one am I going to get the most flavor out of, right?
Right.
You figure Oculus might be the one because this is primarily associated with the PC. And I've already seen, different clips of what people are doing with the Oculus Rift. I saw this video where it was the company put you in this virtual reality deal, and you had to go catch this cat.
Yeah. I saw that video too.
So for anybody who hasn't seen this, imagine if you in your basement, your living room, what have you, it's wide open, and you just take a piece of wood about 5 inches wide, put it on the floor, and you put this headset on. And when you put this headset on, you stand on the top of this skyscraper, looking down, looking all around you, 100 feet in the air, and you got to walk across this beam and get this cat. And they showing this video, man, and they show people wearing the VR headset, and they trying to keep their balance, and they freaking out because it's so realistic.
Right.
That's crazy. Like that's what we got to look forward to in VR. And so it's like at that point, I think that was with the Oculus Rift. To me, another big question is if I get it on the PlayStation and I want to play a game that isn't quote unquote VR capable, can I still see that game and enjoy it with the headset? Have they said anything about that?
I haven't heard anything like that yet, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of concerned about having to wear this headset while I game and what that's going to do to my eyes, what that's going to do to my brain. Switching from VR to reality. Going back and forth like that, what's the long-term effects of this thing being connected to my face and my head? Is my brain gonna start leaking out of my ear at some point?
Are you gonna have to play a game where you got to stand up, or if you sit up? How does that mess with your equilibrium? And are you gonna be able to go to work the next day?
And then you gotta have enough space in your gaming space, right? Because you're gonna be swinging at stuff and ducking, and because video games have become physical. With this headset, you're just not sitting in your beanbag, sitting in your throne, just with your hands on your controller. Now you're swinging and you're fighting and you're ducking and you're moving because it's real now.
Right. I've seen a couple people I think it's Vibe. They got these almost like the PlayStation Move controllers. They got these little gimmicks coming out that you could use for like guns and to move around. And if you had a sword in your hand, you'd be holding that device. I was just
All right.
curious to see. I just want to test it. I need to go somewhere. I need somebody to buy it. Look, if anybody bought the Oculus Rift, contact me at I am DaVinci on Twitter. Get at me. Let me know when I can come by your house on one of my days off so I can check this virtual reality out.
And you mentioned you. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna talk about the price. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to mention a couple of more devices out there because there is the Rift, the Vive, but there's some other companies you guys may not have heard of, and I just want to kind of give them a shout out as well. There is the Sullen Q, and that's SULON space Q. So I haven't heard of them, but they're coming out with a VR set.
That's the
Samsung
company's name, or is that the name of the VR?
That is the name of the headset, the Sullen Q. The other one is the Samsung Gear VR. So, and I think that's the one where you hook your phone up to it, isn't it?
Yeah. They already have that now, where Samsung they give you like this little diagram, and you could take cardboard and you can make this VR headset using a cardboard, and you slide your phone in it, and
that's Google's version, and I was going to touch on that. So Google
on YouTube, yeah, you're right.
The Google Cardboard, which is, I love what Google's doing, because basically Google is saying, let's give everybody a chance to have virtual reality by making it real cheap, with this cardboard.
And I've seen that with the 360 degree YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you experienced one of those? They did it with the Star Wars. A car company did it too, where you could sit in the car and you turn and move your phone around if you got it in this little box headset. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, literally, if you it's using the gyroscope in your phone, you literally just swing your body around and the whole phone follows you, and you're looking behind the car and moving all around.
That's crazy.
VR is dope, man. I think the way if it's executed right, and like you said, the comfort. How long can I comfortably?
Yeah, I'm worried about
and use a headset.
Yeah. So then there's the LG 360. I mentioned the Google Cardboard, and there's one called Zeiss VR 1 and 1GX. So I mean, you got a lot of choices, and what's great about having a lot of choices,
10 different companies doing it.
Right. There's the Homido and Microsoft HoloLens. So if you plan on getting one of these, make sure you shop around and find one that is going to actually do what you want it to do and is going to fit your budget. So you're going to mention the price for these. What's the price point out there right now for these headsets?
Right. So PlayStation, their VR headset, they mentioned just the headset alone is going for $400, $399. I think if you already have a PlayStation console and you don't have a gaming PC, that might be the first direction to lean in if you're a gamer.
But what about games? What games are going to be available for these VR sets? Because that's really that's going to be the selling point, right? We know people are going to use it for porn, right? Because porn is already signed up. So, I mean, listen, once porn gets on something,
Pornhub VR.
Yeah, Pornhub VR. You can have people going around humping the air. That's
Oculus Rift. They automatically got a bone in, pun intended, in the VR case.
And people with their flashlights. Nah, I'm going too far.
Oh man, that's man. You just brought up a crazy memory. Demolition Man. Remember the scene? Sandra Bullock was like, "Let's go, baby, let's get it on." And Sylvester Stallone was like, "Cool, let's go. It's been years, girl. I'm ready to get something out."
Right.
And they put the headsets on, the VR headsets, and it freaked them out, dude. He wasn't ready.
A lot of y'all ain't ready. She wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. I ain't ready for that.
Search on YouTube, Demolition Man VR scene. It's crazy.
Yeah, so check that out. But go ahead.
Like the Oculus Rift, the buy-in for the Oculus Rift, right? The Oculus Rift is $500.
That's a lot of money, man.
It's
a console. That's the price of a console.
It's a system. It's a system. Yeah, you're buying another system. Plus, you have to have your PC has to be powerful enough to run the virtual reality with the Oculus Rift at the same time. And so you have to have a strong gaming PC.
All right. So are the consoles already strong enough to run the VR headsets?
no, and I'm gonna say no because they were saying Sony's VR headset has its own processing power
Okay.
that you have to install with it, and then there with the rumors flying around, which are starting to show that they're true about the PlayStation 4.5, which they haven't really said anything else as far as officially public releases or public notes, whatever you call them, for the press notes.
Right.
And I think they're going to talk about it at E3. Sony will. But I think they're going to come out with that console because it might improve the VR experience.
Gotcha.
So I'm curious to see. I think VR, man, it needs a lot of horsepower to run smooth, good frame rate, good resolution, so the experience is smoother and more consistent, and you don't get as sick while you're trying to use it.
So what's your final verdict, man? This thing, price point, $300 to $500. Are you running out and getting one day one release?
Nah, simply because if I was a PC gamer, maybe, because I would assume I would have the proper rig to run it, and it's going to give me more apps to use than just a video game.
Okay.
I do, as a PlayStation 4 owner, not right away. I am an early adopter in a lot of aspects, but not in a $400 price tag.
Right.
And then looking at the fact that they only have about, as of right now that I could think of, they only have about 20 games officially for the headset. And a lot of those games aren't games that I typically play or would be interested in right now. So maybe in a year, price come down, or maybe they come out with a bundle, or that 4K PlayStation look a little bit juicy. And I mean, who knows? There's so many factors that goes into me wanting to really go out and spend with the headset, and then maybe a new system. Probably an additional, $600-$700. That's a lot.
Oof. Yeah, see, and for me, I think I'm probably about a good year and a half wait for even entertaining the idea of getting a VR headset, because, like I said, I'm worried about it being comfortable. I want to hear about what it's going to do to some of these people's heads. Your brain. I want to. I need some people to test it, bro. I'm not going to be a.
Ain't no radio waves coming from it. It's just a.
Hey, listen.
Every headset. Even I tried the Samsung headset at Best Buy. Super light. And everybody said that the Sony VR headset is comfortable. They fit on your face like ski goggles. They feel like about the weight of a ski goggle. Same thing for the Oculus Rift. I think comfort-wise, as far as I've been hearing, they right up on par, man. It should be pretty good.
I just know we're going to hear some stories about some people's brains being scrambled like eggs, and it's not going to be mine, man. And plus, like I said, we mentioned about 10 companies that got headsets coming out. So I think once you got some of the companies that's going to fold, some of them are going to fold up, you're going to get a better price point. You're going to get a better price point. And that's where I want to get in. I want to get in on the 2.0s and the 2.5s and the 3.0s. I don't want to get in on the first release with this. Kind of like when a new car comes out, they tell you, hey, when that new car comes out, don't buy it. Wait till the second year and buy it when they really worked out some of the kinks and stuff.
Right.
So that's my bottom line on this, man. It up a little bit. Actually, did you watch The Walking Dead season finale?
Okay. Spoilers. What was didn't we have like a little spoiler alert?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Thing. Look. All right.
Spoiler. At this point, we've been talking that Walking Dead, and
we're gonna put it in the info. We're gonna put it in the info.
So this is your
put it in the headline.
Alert. Yeah.
Warning, Will Robinson. Warning. Spoilers.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Walking Dead spoilers right here, right now. Dies. Who dies? No one knows who died.
So
Somebody got killed.
I was involved in some great conversations, man, about who does and why and who. First with my wife. So me and my wife watched the episode, and we was on the edge of the couch, watching this crazy dude, Negan, go back and forth with this bat in his hand, trying to figure out who he
Let me say this.
Yeah.
One of the absolute most best villain I've seen in years.
I thought his rant was long, man. Just go on.
It was long. It was long, but if you the way I perceived him was, man, there is no fakeness with me. There is no let me go holler at my boy and I'm gonna act different and think different. No, I feel like he gave you everything of him. This is who I am, clear cut and dry. And that was so strong as a villain, man. Most villains, you don't get that right away.
I'm gonna tell you what hit me the hardest. And kudos to whoever played Rick. Rick's face was just like, wow,
classic.
The acting, he was literally frightened to death, like he's really finna get hit with this bat, bro. And I was like, wow.
He was processing the fact that this is my end, this is my demise,
after all,
and I accept that.
Right.
After like a while, he accepted it.
I don't know if he accepted, because the look on his face to me was pure horror. Like, oh my God, what did I get us into after all of this?
Yeah. Right.
And you got to figure, he got Carl down at the end, so it's like, man, this dude better not bust my son in the head, man. You know what I mean? So, what'd you say? Say Curl.
Curl.
So
it's like, Dad, are you calling me or Carol? Me or Carol, Dad? What are you saying, Curl?
So here's my thinking, man. I don't think that they will be bold enough to let a man bust a woman's head on TV with a bat. I think.
Right. So let's eliminate it, right?
So yeah, all the women are out. Maggie, Rosita.
Let's eliminate.
Yeah, Sasha, gone.
Done.
Right?
None of them. They live.
Glenn,
Carl lives.
Carl is the hero. So Carl is the hero. They building this better world for Carl and his sister, right?
So you think Carl saves the day in season 7?
I think Carl's end up being the hero in the end. And like I told you earlier, I hope Carl is the one that kills Negan ultimately. But Carl's out.
Okay,
Glenn,
no Carl. Carl lives.
Glenn got his head busted in the comic book, right?
Right.
And we know that they've been using stuff from the comic book, but they've been trying to go in their own direction. So I think it's kind of obvious.
What also happened to Glenn? Glenn doesn't get killed. They could have killed Glenn earlier in the season.
Right, a couple times Glenn could have been dead.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna pull the same thing twice on you, because if I pull the same thing twice on you, that huge, I'm eliminating fans. You're gonna have people who are gonna be like, I'm done, I'm good.
So who does that leave? Daryl, Rick, Abraham, and Eugene.
And Eugene.
Are we ready right now for Rick to go?
Rick is your Captain America, your Iron Man. Rick is your Spider-Man, right? That's your main actor in the series. Rick lives. So here's why Rick lives. Negan told Rick. He told Rick, I want you to, be part of the squad. You're a part of Negan. Now I'm gonna show you the way. I'm gonna show you how we run it here. I'm gonna show you how things go here. He told that specifically to Rick. Negan told us Rick lives. So you got Eugene,
Abraham.
Glenn,
Abraham. Eugene, Abraham, and Daryl.
And Daryl, I'm sorry, not Glenn.
The one everybody's speaking out about is Daryl. I don't think anybody care about Eugene and Abraham. Daryl is the one. So does Daryl get killed? Because that's all that matters. The other two can go. Does Daryl get killed? That's the question.
Here's a couple of reasons I think Daryl's done. Reason number 1.
Okay.
He was on The Talking Dead.
He's been on there before, bro. He's been on there before.
Okay. Was he on The Talking Dead before, behind episodes of where he could have died?
I want to say yes, but I can't remember. I know he was on there before. So that doesn't necessarily mean that's your demise, although they've done that in the past. It doesn't necessarily mean. Now, they kind of gave us a goodbye for Eugene when he got in the RV and drove off.
They did.
Right? And then,
no, we missing somebody. Who's the other guy?
He's a lame. So if they kill him, it won't even matter. Guy. Yeah, the guy from Alexander.
Right, but I'm just accounting the conversation just so we're not forgetting anybody.
He's so lame that if they killed him, it's no big deal.
Dude, don't give me a cliffhanger for Eugene. Don't do that. Don't.
What about Abraham?
Don't.
Is Abraham big enough for a cliffhanger?
A cliffhanger? It could be Abraham only because Abraham was talking to Sasha and saying,
Right. Want to have this baby?
let's make a baby.
Right. Right.
Let's
he almost
do
thought he
what we're
was dead.
supposed to live for.
And he almost died in a couple episodes before that, where he was getting choked out and had to be rescued. So they've given us some ideas about who might go.
I feel like here's my other point of why I think it could still be Daryl. Daryl was so gung ho about chasing old boy and finding old boy. Right. I could see Negan going, "This is who you was talking about. This is who was coming after us. This was doing blah blah blah. Let me make an example. I got your back. This is why I'm your leader. Let me show you why I do what I say and why you trust me. Let me take him out for you right now."
And I can see the death of Daryl being the ultimate motivator for Rick and everybody else. Yep. Eugene's death and Abraham's death, maybe. The other lame dude, nah. But Daryl. So are we settling on Daryl's probably the one that bit it?
I think because I have another question for you. What was Negan saying when he was hitting him with the bat? He was saying, "Oh, you stubborn" or something like that. Or you don't want to go down.
He said, "Oh, you took it like a champ."
Yeah, like he was still alive, and then he gave him a couple more whacks, right?
That screams Abraham, bro.
Oh,
that screams Abraham.
I don't know because when he was pointing the bat at everybody, Daryl didn't flinch.
Yeah, well, Abraham didn't either. He lifted his chin up like, "Come on, we're gonna do this. Yeah. Let's do it."
So you between Daryl and Abraham, and I grew to like Abraham. Exactly. He grew on me, man. At first I didn't like him, and now I'm like, man, Abraham kind of a cool character, man. I get his motivation.
Yeah, and you like that he's with Sasha. But let me ask you this: what if is Rick? What does that do to the show? What if they say, "Listen, let's kill Rick so Carl can become his own person, so Carl can step into that leadership role"? Are you ready for it to be Rick if it's Rick?
I'm not. If it's Rick, I don't watch the show anymore. I can't.
Wow. I kind of feel that way. I'm not gonna say I don't watch it, but I feel like you lose something.
Yeah.
Now some people were saying that the writers are kind of playing dirty and saying we're gonna read social media and kind of let the fans decide, kind of hear the chatter and look at, the fans figure it's this person, so we're gonna be this person, or the fans don't want this person. Yeah, they playing safe in a sense.
Getting everybody opinion before they go, okay, well, this is who they killed. Here's what's weird about it and kind of interesting. They start shooting this month, season 7.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and they didn't tell any other cast members who they killed.
Wow, man. So how do they pull that off? Because
that's the rumor. They didn't tell anyone who they killed. But people are reading the cast members were reading the scripts for season 7 and flipping out.
Like flipping out, like what though?
Like what? Why did you do what? How could you do what? Blah blah blah. What if it is Maggie?
Man, bro.
How like what does that do to a guy like Negan, right? How your perception of this villain, right? Because you constantly have to one up yourself. And
the governor was weak to me. The governor was weak as a villain. So
way weaker than I think the governor was miscast. I didn't like the actor that played the governor.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
That was a part of the part.
All right, so we'll keep our ear to the ground and try to figure out what's going on with The Walking Dead, man. But let's move on, man, to the cool down. So came out last weekend, 400 million opening weekend. Batman versus Superman. I know you saw it.
Dawn of Justice.
Tell me what you thought about it.
All right, out of 5. And I really want to go see it again just so I can make sure my rating is right. Out of 5 right now, as it stands, 3.5 out of 5.
Ooh, where's the other point and a half at? For me, from beginning to end, this was a 5 all the way. So where's your other point and a half at? What was lacking, sir? Talk to me.
So lately, the last how long we've been away? 10 months. I've had a lot of time to listen to movie podcasts and people in the industry and people who their job is to break down movies, right? And I've got a different perspective for movies now. And to me, the movie had, as you watch it, it had a lot of editing issues. It felt a little jumpy in between scenes.
I saw that, right?
And that to me was like a big distraction. And I think the biggest cloud hanging over my head watching this movie was the very fact that Zack Snyder and his wife, who was a producer on the film, admitted that the studio and the rating board wanted them to edit the movie down to get a PG-13 rating. So they said they took out about 30 minutes of what was in that film. And it, to me, knowing that, I've had that thought in my mind, like, okay, I'm seeing this scene and it jumps to this. And I'm like, okay, well, what's missing out of that? You know, and all of a sudden Warner Brothers is releasing clips with, you know, Lex Luthor, and he's in this ship in the pool, and you see, I think Steppenwolf or whatever that guy's name is,
right?
That wasn't in the movie. And why are we getting all of this so soon after the movie came out? It's blurring my overall thought of the movie.
I love that it's coming out so soon because what you have is you have these directors, man, and these producers being tired of these studios or whoever messing with their movies. Let them do the movie. That's what I think. So I think you got the directors and these producers, man. They're fed up with, you know, with the big studios and these boards, the review boards, always messing with their content, with their movies. So that's why I think all this information is coming out, because they want the fans to know, look, hey, we're not trying to rob you, man. We had a great movie. We just didn't get to do what we wanted to do. So I think there was already talk about there being a 3-hour director's cut on the DVD or something,
Can't
right?
wait.
Yeah,
Can't
I can't wait for that either, man. But
wait.
overall, even with what was missing, and maybe because it was a good thing that I didn't know all this stuff was missing, I still went into this movie enjoying it. I enjoyed the fight scene between Batman and Superman. That was actually hard for me to watch because I'm a Superman fan.
Okay,
You know
so let
what
me
I mean?
ask you about the fight.
Okay.
Do you feel like the fight could have been earlier in the movie? I thought that they would have had at least 2 solid fights when they really only had like a fight and a quarter.
I think the movie called for one fight because after that, the reason, to me, one fight was perfect because you're both superheroes. You're both good guys. Listen, Let's get this fight out the way. Batman showed that he could actually beat Superman, which shows Superman, look, bro, you need help. You're not alone. You may think these people might be worshiping you as a god, but I just beat you. You know, and I love that part of it. It humanized Superman.
He broke Superman down, boy.
Humanized the mess out. And part of that is because Superman didn't kill him. Superman could have killed this dude from the very beginning and been done with him. So I love that part of it, man. I love when I think there was some Wonder Woman scenes that might have been cut out because her role seemed kind of, wait, what? It didn't make sense. Her motivation didn't make sense. Going after a picture wasn't a big enough motivation for me. For Wonder Woman's character. And I don't know why people can't get Wonder Woman right. You know, she's not hard to do. Just respect her.
She's never been in a movie.
Well, she had the TV movies, and then when they think about making movies for her, they can't seem to get an idea right for her. It's like they're afraid to let this Superman version of a woman be who she is. That's kind of the idea I get with her. But anyway, great movie.
I think her movie gonna be dope. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Best Batman.
Huh?
Best movie Batman.
Best movie Batman.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're gonna get a lot of pushback on that, bro. Because Christian Bale's cold blooded, man.
He looked. I love Christian Bale's Batman, but this Batman, to me, he looked the most like a comic book, like his comic book character. Man, the way he portrayed Bruce Wayne, where for him, I hide Batman as Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Because for him, he's always Batman. But he can't wear the cowl all the time. So his portrayal of Bruce Wayne, he's protecting his company, the people he worked with, and you know, the world. For him, is like, this is bigger than Gotham. This is the world. You ain't finna Yeah, you not finna come in here and do this. That was him putting his foot down. I love the Batmobile. I didn't mind the dark tone of the movie. Everybody flipping out. This movie wasn't fun. This movie didn't have. I love the Zack Snyder tone because that's what it was. It was a Zack Snyder tone.
The tone was perfect. The tone was perfect.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I was gonna say just real quick. I didn't mind that he killed people. This Batman lost Robin. He hasn't been Batman for a long time. He got a chip on his shoulder. He broke his own rules. Alfred told him he knew it, and he gonna right the ship. Superman is gonna keep Batman in check.
I love that you mentioned that it felt like the comic book Batman because this entire movie felt like a comic book, and that's what I loved about it.
It did. I think this was the most comic book version of Batman.
Right, and that's what I loved about it, man. Even up to the point where how they created Doomsday, the Doomsday fight, and Superman being killed. I loved everything about this movie. I look forward to whatever's coming up next for them. I look forward to the DVD, the 3-hour version that's going to drop. I will be buying this on day one, just like I bought Superman. So
I think this movie did. I think this movie served its purpose. Right. It was the stepping stone, the jump off platform for DC to say, we just gonna tell you that we got all these characters. Here's a 2.5-hour movie to show you that we got all these characters. And now that we've done that, we have all these other movies that we're about to get ready to come out. They kind of reverse engineer what Marvel did. Not as good as Marvel. It's just the start and the beginning. Let's see where it goes from here.
Yep. And that's what we're gonna do with the podcast, guys. This has been episode 20. We are back.
0. Next episode we're gonna be legal and we could drink. So it might be a drunk podcast. I don't know.
Not with them babies you got, boy. Episode 20, Power Pellet Podcast. We are back. You can find us on our Facebook page, Power Pellet Podcast Group. You can find all our shows on YouTube, Power Pellet Podcast on YouTube. Just do a search. We're also on Twitter and Podomatic and Stitcher. Don't let me forget Stitcher. Stitcher, you can always go out and find the last 3 episodes. Jay, it's good to be back.
And that's going to change. We switch to Podbeans.
Yeah.
Podbean. It is good to be back. I'm glad you twisted my arm. We're going to work on the format for y'all a little bit more. The episode's going to be a little bit tighter, but we definitely plan to continue to just have that conversational podcast where you feel like you're sitting in the living room, sitting in the basement, sitting in the hallways, in the theater after a movie just turned off, or we in Best Buy, we talking about something. This is an open conversation podcast. Please do not hesitate to hit us up on Twitter. You can at me at I am Davinch, DAVENCH. You got questions, conversations, thoughts, hit me up.
Hey, thanks for listening. Good night.
Our Pellet Podcast. We out.